Hey everybody, welcome back. Brainiac Baseball's 1969 Seattle Pilots What If Scenario. Right now we're going to do our end of June standings and league leaders video. And now that we've reached 80 games with the completion of today's 3-0 shutout over the Royals, we're basically one game shy of the halfway mark of the season. And so I think we've reached a point in the season where we can take a look at the league leaders and really get a sense of who are the really best players in this sim. Now, I mean, 1969, we're coming off the year of the pitcher, so we know that we're not going to find too many batters that are over the 300 mark. We're probably going to find a lot of pitchers below 3 ERA. So we know what to expect, but we really aren't sure what the names will be because the way this sim is set up, you get a lot of like quadruple A pitchers who are making rotations and having a chance to maybe have a career year, a year that they would not have had in real life. So let's start this off by taking a look at the end of June here. We did have the 3-0 shutout, and I thought, man, we have had a ton of shutouts this year. Let's take a look at the standings, and you'll see that we are now 2 games over 500. 2 games back of Oakland and 2.5 back of Minnesota. Technically, we're right in it, but I think the best that we can hope for is a 500 record, at the end of the year. Like if we finish 500 or maybe slightly better or worse, I don't think we could argue with those results. What is surprising is the Indians have jumped over the Yankees at this point. They've won 5 in a row. And they are the number 2 team in the East, 3.5 back of Baltimore. And I'm fairly certain that Baltimore is the best team and probably will win that division handedly when it comes down to it. But Cleveland making a go of it. They just traded for the Tigers' Norm Cash, and that seems to be the right move. Jumped them right into second place. But what I was going to say regarding the shutouts is I went to shutouts here. And look at this. We have shut out our opponents 10 times already. That's 2 more than any other team, including the Baltimore Orioles, which have so many great starting pitchers on that team. So I think that is a pat on the back for me, who I think is doing a good job managing the bullpen and pulling out our starters right when they start to get a little bit tired. Our bullpen has been pretty solid for the most part. We've had to take some starters out and stick them in the pen, and that did not help us much. But to have 10 shutouts at the halfway point of a season while being an expansion team, I think I deserve a little bit of credit for that. So I'm patting myself on the back. The other interesting team stat, is 1-run ball games. Come on, there we go. Okay, we are 16-7 in 1-run ball games. Another testament to our bullpen work. Every close game, we've managed to more or less pull out the victory. The only team that's got more 1-run victories than us in the American League anyway is the Yankees, who are 20-9. So pretty solid by them. I thought I would just take a moment to point that out before we take a look at the overall league leaders. There we go. Sorry. Okay, so there's the American League. We'll take a look at the National League. And Pittsburgh leading the East. Of course, they have a ton of good players on this team, but they traded away Willie Stargell right when the season began, and yet they still find themselves in first place. Montreal, who at one point was in second place, has as an expansion team, has dropped to the last place in the East. And you see how the rest of it plays out there. The West is Houston with a 3.5 game lead over the Dodgers. You see how that wraps up. San Diego now has 22 wins, and I have my sheet here, my index card actually, of the contest to win the Dave Roberts autographed Topps contract. And Don T, if things were to go as they are now, this is the halfway point, guys. Don T would be the winner with 52 wins is what he guessed. He is the lowest, without going over. John M. guessed 55, Freddie guessed 54, and Dave guessed 69. So right now, San Diego is on track to win only 44 games, more or less. So, wow, that is pretty horrible. And you'll see the rest of the numbers here. Okay, let's get into the league leaders. We don't want this to go too long, I don't think. Okay, we're looking at the American League here. And there's the top 25 in batting average with Willie Stargell, who came over from Pittsburgh. Here's his card right here. Leading the American League with a .318 batting average. Great job by Baltimore getting Stargell and Joe Torre. Joe Torre came over in a trade, and then we didn't see him much as they kept going to whoever their alternate catcher is on Baltimore. I forgot. It's a big name, too. I see Thurman Munson, Billy Parker, Chuck Hinton. You get the idea here. But only 4 batters that qualify for the batting title are over 300. So that is not great. In fact, in the top 25, it's rounded out by the 25th qualified batter batting .266. So that is not great at all. But this is that era. This is the era of the pitcher. So, okay, we're going to do, we're going to do all batting stats here real quick. And we're going to kind of run through the mediocre ones. I'm just curious about at-bats. Rich Rollins has 302. Doubles, definitely curious about that. So Willie Stargell leads with 22. We just saw Luke Piniella get his 20th against us like 2 games ago. He may be a pilot before too long. And you see the rest of the top 10. We do not have anybody in the top 10. I believe our top doubles guy is Rich Rollins with 10. Okay, grounding into double plays. Wow, 23 by Frank Howard. There's no pilot player in there. Fielding average, do we care? I'm sort of curious at the halfway. Yeah, we're going to do it. You know what? I'm curious. Maybe you want to know too. Where do all of the players at the halfway point set? Fielding average, Bill Freehand for the Tigers. He was just traded to the Dodgers. So it won't be long before he's not qualified anymore. Joe Torre and then Jerry McNerney right there, having a solid year despite having a very low rating. The worst catcher is Thurman Munson. That obviously is not accurate. But okay, what about first base? We have Darren Johnson qualifying, not Mike Hegan. Darren Johnson right there with Bob Spence for the White Sox, the best. Let's take a look at second base. We're not going to have anybody qualifying there. We've moved too many people around as Dave Campbell of Detroit and Ho Clark are leading. Third base, yeah, we should have somebody. Rich Rollins, 948 fielding average. Not great. Bob Bailey with the Yankees. He's been traded twice this year. Third team, the Yankees, and leading the American League. Shortstop, I don't know. Are we going to have anybody there? Yeah, we're not having anybody at shortstop. I mean, we ran out Ray Euler. We've had so many terrible shortstops, including Don Kessinger, who has just absolutely been horrible at the bat. We've now got Freddie Patek. I hope he's going to be good, but who knows. Left field, we have Mike Hegan qualified. He just made his first error out there in left. Chuck Hinton leading with Roy White. Okay, Gates Brown with a 929. Center field is none of it. We've just moved around center field so much between Bosch and AG. So, yeah, Jose Cardinal is errorless so far. And right field is Bobby Mercer. That makes sense. And Tommy Harper is fifth. Good for him. Better than Reggie. Better than Reggie. Better than Frank. So, good job by Tommy Harper. For a guy that has a terrible, terrible defensive rating, he is getting the job done. Okay, hits. Who's the hit leader so far? Halfway point, it's Billy Parker. There he is, of the Yankees. He came over in a trade. So he's a rookie leading in hits. Wow, how often do you see that happen? A guy come over in a trade and start raking. He's batting nearly 400. He's batting 392. And that's no joke. It's 125 at bats. So he is getting it done. Good job by Billy Parker, and unexpected as well. And those are both American League teams? Yeah, so that works. Okay. Oh, and then technically 3 Cleveland Indians right there. So that's part of the reason why they're sitting in second place in the American League East. The best qualifier is Rich Rollins for us. We'll take a look at him. He deserves a little recognition. The 31-year-old right-handed batter has 81 hits. That is amazing. In 2 more hits, he'll have tied the most that he's had in 4 years. So we got nobody better. We just keep running them out there. That's all we can do. All right, let's move on to hit by pitch. Tom Silverio from Transylvania. I think I'm trying to do Italian, but that's not working. Hegan and Van Kelly, who's down in the minors now, both have 3 for us. And as you can see, the other leaders. All right. Home runs. Well, that's important, right? So, yeah, it's still Sam Bowens. He's been in the lead as far back as I can remember. Norm Cash switching teams, hanging in there. And then Gene Tennis went on that run. Look at his log. Yeah, it doesn't even show it because he had 3 home runs in a ball game. And that's off the 20-game mark. So it did take place in June, but it must have been the beginning of June. Nonetheless, Gene Tennis crushing it. Tommy Agee, he's hot and cold, man. He's got 12 home runs right now, which is pretty solid. I mean, that's more than I would have expected at the halfway point. We might actually get one player to hit more than 20 home runs on our team. Difficult to say if we'll get a 40 home run hitter. I'm going to guess no. Okay, intentional walks. Whoa, 15. Sam Bowens has intentionally walked 15 times this year. I don't understand why that would be. That is a good hitting team. I guess it's whoever's behind him. I love this part. Watch out, Ricky Henderson. Bowens' speed is how. Ricky Henderson might not even been born in 1969. I don't know. That doesn't make any sense, but whatever. Okay. On base percentage, yeah, I'm curious. Mike Epstein, he does walk a lot. Walked 62 times, 423 on base percentage. And we got Mike Hegan on the chart, 355, because he does walk his fair share. Since we've already done defense, let's look at outfield assists. 8 by Lou, and then Tommy Harper's got 4. Good job by him. That is kind of amazing, to be honest. And you see the other noodle arms out there. I mean, most of these guys, maybe, yeah, Paul Blair had a good arm. I don't know if Lou actually had a good arm. But these are people with poor arms that get run on all the time. I mean, yeah, none of these guys are particularly great defensive. Rick Monday, I guess, was. Anyway. All right. Moving on to the next category of interest. OPS. Willie Stargell, 979. He's got a 38-point lead over Gene Tennis. Only 4 batters over 900. And no Pilots player, as you might expect. Plate appearances. Carmen Fan Zone. What? He's got a 1 plate appearance lead over Jim Fregosi. That's weird. Okay, we don't care about that. RBI. Jose Cardinal leading in RBI with 57. Norm Cash has 56 accumulated with the 2 teams. Frankie Robinson has 52. We do have Tommy Agee down at the bottom with 38. Also, Tommy Harper has 38 with that 3-run home run earlier today. Okay. Runners thrown out. Yeah, we'll look at the catchers. John Roseboro, 22. And Jerry McNertney, 19. That's amazing. Great job by him. What's his percentage? We'll find that out here momentarily. Here it is, 37.3%. It was hovering right around 50. John Roseboro is in a class of his own. 48.9%. Gene Tennis, 15.6. Pavlitic at 25.4. That's the guy with the 67 arm. Oh man, that's horrific. Okay. Runs scored. Red J. Smith has 58. And Tommy Harper has 41 for the Pilots. Okay, runs, I don't care about that. Sacrifice hits. Is it all pitchers? Gene Brabender has 7. And Jerry McNertney has 6. Is he the highest batter on the list? Let's see here. Yes, he is. He's the only batter on the list with at least qualifying with 6. That's crazy. Okay, how about sac flies? Yeah, we don't do that well. Sal Bando, R.I.P. Sal Bando. All right. Slugging, Willie, Stargell. Steals. We've all but stopped stealing at this point of the season. Bert Campaneris has 29. Jose Cardinal has 24. Cardinal also leading in RBI. That might be an MVP right there. Tommy Agee's got 19. Harper's got 14. But, yeah, we've pretty much stopped stealing. It's an automatic out, it feels like, most of the time. Okay, who has struck out the most? Dick Simpson, the leadoff guy for the Yankees, has 78. Hegan has 61, but he's slowed down a lot and is walking much more. Tommy Agee, 57. Tommy Harper, 54. We got three guys qualifying for strikeouts. All right. Triples. Rich Rahl has 4, and Tommy Agee has 3. Frank Quilici and Tom Silverio both have 6. Walks. Mike Epstein, 62. And Mike Adams has 60. So I wonder why Mike Epstein's not leading off. Mike Adams does. I guess a lot of these guys are not leadoff hitters. But Mike Hegan has 42. Good job by him. He has definitely become maybe our most consistent player. All right, and that's it. Okay, so now we're going to go back and just go down the list here and do pitchers, and then we'll just flip it to the National League and we'll be done. All right? Here we go. Complete games. Catfish Hunter and Denny McLean both have 7 at the halfway point. And that seems realistic, right? 15 complete games approximately would be fair, I think, for this era. ERA. Let's talk about ERA. Sam McDowell done for the year. 144 days. Elbow tendonitis. So at some point, he did not get to 162 innings pitched. So toward the end of the season, he will drop off the list. And so we're really thinking about who else is after him here on the list. Gene Brabender just threw that shutout. That was his 2nd of the year. Yeah, 2 complete games, 2 shutouts. Good job by him. Anyway, yeah, a lot of great names in here. A lot of really top-notch names in the American League. Okay. Let's see here. Games pitched. It blows my mind, but we do not have any pitchers in the top 5. That is very unusual for me. I've done a pretty good job of managing my bullpen this year. And Ron Locke, with 36, has the most. And he's given up runs in 3 of the last 4 appearances. So he is starting to fall apart. Maybe we've overused him at this point. Okay, who's induced the most double plays? Tommy John. Throwing the junk up there. Okay, Tommy John. Who has hit the most batters? Jim Rooker of Kansas City's nailed 7. No pilots on these lists. We've traded away all of our, well, three-fifths of our starting pitchers since the season began. Who has given up the most home runs? 35 from Denny McLain already. And Joe Pacwa. Joe Pacwa. We had to forcibly retire that guy. But wait a minute. Denny McLain has given up 35 home runs. That has got to be a glitch, right? That has to be a glitch. How is that possible? Look at his log for answers. 32 home runs in the last 20 games. He gave up 4 versus I mean, he is in the American League East, right? So, I mean, that is not an enviable place to throw the ball. But, wow. And he's only given up 77 total runs. So, that's a lot of solo shots. That's crazy. And then Mickey Lolich is right behind him. Joe Pacwa. I forgot about him already. Okay, that's nuts. Let's see here. Innings pitched. Yeah, we're not going to be on this list. I think with the complete game shutout for Brabender, he's at 112. So most of these teams are doing 4-man rotations, and we are not one of those teams. In innings per game, almost 8 innings for Earl Wilson. Yeah, we're not on that list. I don't really care about that. Don't really. Oh, yeah, quality starts. Out of curiosity, yeah, none of our guys. Dave Bott was 4 guys leading the list there. Sam McDowell, of course, is injured. Andy Messersmith. Good job by him. Okay. Runners per 9. That's kind of like this version of a... Oh, yeah, that doesn't even work. That's never worked on this game. Ever. In any edition I've ever played. Saves. Here we go. Save leader. Dick Hall of Baltimore. Makes sense. He's got 15. Mike Marshall of the Pilotes has 14. So good job there. Diego Segui has a couple. He's on the board. All right. That's interesting. Shutouts. Gene Brabender. Right behind Camilo Pascual. A lot of people with 2, but that's pretty impressive. The fact that we have thrown 10 shutouts this year, I think we've only got 4 complete game shutouts. Okay, starts. I mean, yeah. So there's people making 20 starts on the way to 40. We can't compete with that. There's no way we could do that. Strikeouts pitched. Brabender has 84. He is down at the bottom. McDowell, followed by Messersmith. Interesting. Okay. And then we have strikeouts per 9. So Sam McDowell was averaging 1 per inning. That is amazing. And then Bob Meyer is the second best with basically 8 per inning. That is pretty good. If he could just go more than 5 innings. Walks per 9 inning. Marty Patton. He's starting to walk 2 per game now, but he is the best, and I don't know how long he'll stay there, but good job by him. Wins leaders, last category. Gary Peters has 13 wins already with 19 starts. He's 13-5. And the class of the American League, and there's 6 other bad pitchers with more than 10 wins, and Brabender just got his 7th. So, okay, well that will do it for the where's batting average? Here we go. For the American League, we're just going to take a look here at the National League leaders that are right here in front of us. Willie Davis leading in batting average. He did win a batting title. So did Pete Rose. Roberto Clemente right up there. Al Oliver. So Pittsburgh, Manny Sanguillen, getting rid of Willie Stargell and still having 3 batters in the top 10. Home runs, Hammer and Hank has 18. Mike Schmidt, who is a rookie, has 17. And you see the rest of them there. ERA, Nolan Ryan, the Ryan Express, just over Bob Gibson. Gaylord Perry, look at the Hall of Fame names here. Juan Marichal, somebody named Jeff James. That's him. Never heard of you, even though I added your card. And win leaders, wow, Don Wilson has 14. Holy smokes, he's 14-2 for the first place Houston Astros. That is crazy. Bob Gibson's got 13 and a handful others, all over 10. Okay, guys, I think that is going to do it. One last quick look here at the calendar as we flip to July. We've got 6 games before the All-Star game. I have still yet to decide whether or not we are going to do a live version of the All-Star game. If I were, I would try to do it at night, maybe on the weekend. The important thing is we have to keep things rolling because it won't be long now before I have to start dealing with the 1984 Detroit Tigers season replay. And in fact, I can guarantee you that in the next couple of weeks, we'll start rolling out the off-season review for the 1983 Detroit Tigers, what we did in the off-season heading into 1984. And then we will also start doing the division previews, which we do every year. So look forward to that. It should be within the next 2 weeks. All that will be coming together. I still got work to do, getting the prep work done for the 1984 season, but we're not going to forget about our pilots. And then at the end of the month, we have the trade deadline coming up on the end of the month here, the 31st. And we will have traded Tommy Harper for sure by then. Okay, so that's going to conclude this video until tomorrow, where we're going to start the new series versus the Twins. Everyone, have a great night.